Ahem.
I knew you were there. My omnipresence sensed a disturbance in the force.
What you got here?
I'm sick of cars. That's right, I said it. Sick of cars. I need a change of pace. You know what can brighten the spirits on a hot summer's day?
Let me guess.
Mini bikes.
Yes.
Yeah, I've had this idea for a while, and we're making progress on a lot of stuff. But I need to change of pace. You know, you cannot just keep flogging the system and expect it to produce great results. An English wheel has been quite a challenge. I'm figuring it out, but I just want to take, just like my summer vacation, right? I'm going to take a moment to build a mini bike I've been thinking about for a while. A mini trike at that. So that's what we're up to. My friend Evan at RCI, he makes cool mini bike stuff, and he helped me out with a little chopper I made. I traded it out to him for some parts, but I got to keep the engine. If you saw that episode of the TV show, it was that pink chopper. So this is a brand new Predator 212 engine. Since I shipped him the bike, we were trying to save a little money on weight. So he's like, oh, I got those engines lined up. Just send me the bike. So I was like, well, naturally, I need to make a replacement. So that's what I'm thinking. Our friend Tom Taylor, he's got all the cool stuff. I was like, hey, man, I need a mini bike frame. He's got it.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. But I told him, you can't be upset if I cut this thing apart. He's like, no, that's cool. I got a lot of them. And this one was a little bit, the fork is bent here. You can see a lot of these things run into stuff because they got almost no brakes. So you'd have to fix this fork and a bunch of stuff. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about building a custom trike frame. Mini bike, got one wheel in the back. Boom. Trike, two wheels in the back. Our friend Barry Smith, Buggy Trash Dad, long time ago, he's like, dude, I have these tires laying in my workshop, and they've got your name all over them. Sure enough, they do. Who's our friend?
Joking Gianna.
Joking Gianna. She sent us this chain steering wheel. And
early in our channel, yeah.
We were going to put on a lot of stuff, but I was like, those lowrider bicycles with the chain steering wheel? Boom.
Perfect.
Definitely. And if you know me, I'm into choppers, right? Nothing stubby. So I found this wheel at our local Tractor Supply, and it doesn't even have air in it, but for a little garden cart. Looks like a chopper front tire to me. Does it not?
It does. I didn't even realize that's where you got it.
It's got a spool hub on it. So yeah, early choppers would run something just like this in a 19 or 21 inch. So Evan hooked me up with his trike kit, proper keyed axle, hubs, sprockets on the way, bearings, holders, etc. The whole kit. Brake, so it'll actually have a drum brake. Bada boom. So we got all the stuff. We just don't have a chopper trike yet. I also have this big stainless steel shaft. So if we wanted to make the trike wider than this, we could make it darn near 6 feet wide. Can you dig it? That's what we're up to. I was just welding together these little tabs on that little mini bike. I built like a Sugar Bear style fork. That's with the had these large dropouts, so it's a springer up here, but these long kind of rocker arms. And I don't know, that's kind of where I was at with this. Drilling holes, setting up tabs. This is purely a showpiece. I don't want to hear about how's a corner, how you going to do this, how you do that. This is a piece of art that will roll, much like the Blue Demon.
Mm-hmm.
Serve no purpose but to make people smile. And it will. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So I have an idea. We're going to start with the engineering of the chassis and the forks. These forks are very fragile, as most long choppers are. So this is a 1-inch tube, but it's thicker than 16 gauge is what I use a lot of times for things. So I told him, give me a thicker material. I don't know how thick this is because I don't even read the receipts. I just take the metal supplier's word for it. So yeah, it has 4 tubes coming up. So that is like the main kind of structure. And then there's another one that acts as the springer. Is it actually going to spring that well? At this rake, probably not. It's just going to flex. That's where the engineering of where the weight will be positioned. You know, we don't want a lot of weight on this. And then, will it steer? Again, who cares? It's going to drive around. So hold all of your functionality comments till the end, because this is just pure, far, wild out fun. Wild out. So we got, you know, here's a layout, right? Does that look too long? It's about 7'6" long. Yeah, this is what I've been welding right here, just rough mocking up stuff with a hole in it. So this is angle iron, 3/16 wall, and then I drilled with the same size hardware that is the axle diameter. I think it's 7/16, you know me. So pretty much on a simple mini bike like this one, you can see the axle goes right through, no suspension, 2 straight down sticks. So if you were to mimic that, you might do that here, right? And just end up with only 2 tubes. But we want a little more strength. So I got 7/8 inch tube in a thinner wall to create that upper piece that'll make it look like a 4-bar chopper front end thing. I'm going to cut that 7/16 in half and then show you the process on how I set up these two, and then we'll assemble it. So these tabs weld on to the end of these, and I'm leaving a little root gap because I want maximum strength. So basically on the ends like that. And then these little 3 hole plates, they're going to get stylized, but the 2 fork tubes come into it like so, 1, 2, and then the tire is just held up a little bit, right? So as it's swinging on these two, see, it gives it a little bit of suspension. Not a lot, but just enough to take that potentially bone-jarring ride away. Do a quick little clamp and weld. Set those up like that. Live. I'm baking them up in here.
The world's most shocking monster. Never have you known such cringing terror, such sudden shock.
So you can see on these how much material is left over, right? So this is all going to get chopped back, sanded real nice. That's why I just put the weld in so hot so that it's full penetration. There's a lot of grip on the inside that won't get ground off. So purely mock-up status right here. So what I want to do now, do we have enough hardware? We're going to need 4. I was pulling some bolts out. I can't remember. We got 2. Yeah, let's see. So we're going to have, this is the top. This is the top. It's very hot. Don't touch. That. So a challenge with this is we're going to have to get little button head screws because they tend to get in the way of the hub. As I remember, we're going to do it like that. And then, oh, let's go on the outside. Like that. Yeah, so it swings. And then this is a small one. So then that's going to go in there like that. So see where I'm going with that, as I mentioned? See? It's got room to swivel. But I think I might have to conjure up 2 more bolts. Oh, great hubcap of bounty. Please. 2 more bolts. Boom. Boom. Winner! Sweet. Never fails. I don't know. They just reproduce in that thing. Every time I look in there, I get what I need. There it is. Ooh-wee, it's hot. All right, so nut, fine thread. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're just going to put some washers on this or just leave it very loose for the moment. That. Look at that. Hardware everywhere. Today is a good day. Jamie and I have a really big secret.
We do.
But we can't talk about it just yet.
Not yet, but hopefully in our next video.
Stay tuned. I think you were talking about like something on the Instagram or something.
But yeah, we have a very, very exciting announcement.
And no, we're not having a kid.
Oh gosh, no. I just, my oldest just turned 21.
Don't get carried away.
Nope.
Where did I put that plate?
Uh-oh.
Moving 10 times the speed of sound. Oh, it's hanging right here.
Oh, where was it?
Right where I left it.
I
It's
looked-
hot.
I looked right at it too.
I can't even think straight. Okay, so that goes with that on top. That goes here. That goes there. Is that fine thread? Looks like the one. Again, this is just fast and loose. Get nice hardware, make it all happen. Ooh, I just touched it. Red hot.
It stays hot for a long time, huh?
Yes, stainless steel is one of the worst. It really holds the heat. Aluminum gets rid of the heat quick, and steel is somewhere in the middle. Mild steel. Metric. All right, maybe we don't have enough for that. Come on, there it is. Nope, not gonna work, but that's okay. All right, so this is gonna go here. So you can see how the hardware is already fouling up on the spokes. That's one thing, we're gonna have to get that slim line hardware. Okay. We got 7/16, we got 7/8 on top and 1 inch on the bottom.
I gotta stop this. Ian and I are going through it right now. This is a new take 17.
Told you we had some exciting news.
Yeah. To be announced at our next video. And
Phone call up. Jamie is a professional. I just want to point that out. I do not have the patience for all the yammering, all the negotiating.
Hey, I used to be a nurse case manager, man.
I can't imagine what you went through. Like in a crisis mode in the emergency room, a relatively, in my opinion, simple transaction. It just,
I'm smiling behind the camera.
yeah, no, it's exciting. It's just, wow. Wow.
Do what you do best, darling.
I don't even remember how this bender goes together.
You
What's the
build
top?
cars and art.
My brain's scrambled. The human species, one of the most curious things ever. Got 7/8 round tube, and I got a 7/8 die in the bender. And when I say die, I don't mean literally.
Are you coming my way or the other way?
I'm going all around. I'm out of control.
Okay.
I'm doing
I
whatever
never
it
really
takes.
know when you put something in there. I don't know which way.
It's going to make a really tight, simple loop. All right. That's in there. That's in there. Check. Let's pull it around. I'll explain what we're going to do in a moment. I'm going to create a 180-degree pull because we're going to build the top of the fork a little bit different than bottom. You can see this pretty easy stuff to bend.
Oh, I see what you did. It looks like a shepherd's thingamajiggy. You know what I'm talking about, their staff or whatever.
Thingamajig. You know, it's a very wide range of terms. All right, so we got a thingamajig.
Boom.
We're going to turn that frown upside down. You getting that fly?
Yep.
Here, let me. Ninja! I have a handprint on my head. I got the fly.
We're messy out here. You can't help but be messy out here. Like no wonder why they call people desert rats, because you're just in the summer it's just hot, you're just messy.
No way through it except through it. Okay, so I'm looking at this hub, and what I'm trying to gauge here is the width. How wide are these tubes? Because what we just created is the top of this. And you can see the die is way wide. So thinking just because this is what we have, I'm going to work off this measurement because there'll be a little spacer here between the hub and these rocker arms. But when you steer, this tire is going to lean a lot. So if there is any kind of like flex in the forks, you won't be banging against the hardware with the spokes. Always thinking ahead. Again, because it's a sculpture, it's not a race bike. So at that point, our top tubes are 6 inches wide on the outside. This is 8 inches wide. What does that mean? You got to take 2 inches out. Everyone together. You got to take 2 inches out of that.
Oh, because it has to be a snug fit.
It has to match. It's going to be way up here on the other end of the forks.
Oh.
It's going to be the top of this.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
So it's not 4 independent tubes in the end. These 2 lower ones are attached just like these will be. And then the smaller ones, they're out here doing this for the suspension, but it's laid way back. So is it going to do much? Nope. It's going to look hella cool.
Yeah.
There it is. So I got this 2-inch tape just because, you know, I'm so anti-measuring. Wait, now it's 1 3/4. Very
I was all
technical.
ready to go in on that tape.
I worked on that prop for hours last night to get it to split, just like when I dropped the bolt down the Jeep. I mean, it's the
Somebody
gags.
commented about the Jeep bolt. They're like it would take producers and writers like hours to figure out that whole entire sequence, and that really was very genuine. I just happened to catch it.
Well, just like my tape gag. I set that up. Took me 4 hours last night to get that crease just right. Right down the center, eh? Boom. Cool. And get the cutoff wheel, chop it. Speaking of cutoff wheels, look at this. This.
Here.
This is the power of community.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Macy. Jeff, if I may. Look at this. Thanks, man. You're going to go a long way. And I threw out the other paper. Someone sent us this Metal Max saw blade. I'm interested to try that out. For now, I'm going with what I know. El Diablo. I don't know how long this whole thing is going to be in the end, but basically, these two join to this somewhere, wherever the spring ends up. So I'm going to work on getting a couple springs and some gear to make this work. But pretty much, when it's in the bike, the angle will be somewhere like this, right? So when you hit a bump, you got a little suspension.
Ah.
So we're going to take this, put it over here for the moment. Because now it really gets exciting. It's one of my favorite parts of every project. The envisioning process. So, this frame, at this point, is purely parts. We're going to cut this whole thing up. So that can exit the table. So, here's where you're going. Now we decide, is it 3 feet wide? Is it 4 feet wide? There's going to be an axle coming through here. Potentially, we might go with split hubs. Evan has sent me both. Well, he sent me the solid axle, but he's also sending me some other stuff. So with most things, you know, I want to sit as low as possible. I want the most cartoon, giant monster in the little vehicle appearance I can, you know? I think we all agree. That's the way it rolls around here. So we got a tire stuck in place. Now I'm going to hop up on this table. So our axle height, potentially, if we split that tire, which is about 16, the axle height is 8 inches up. So what's this box? How much?
8 inches.
You're a natural. You're a natural at this. So that's that. So the axle will be here. So my seat, if it's a straight axle, can't go lower than that. And then the engine, you know, we can drop that. That could be low, but we don't want it on the street. So what do we got? We got some blocks here. Because again, I'm looking for those cartoon proportions. So that's about half. That's about 4 inches. So if we got some blocks, we got our happy little engine. That engine can go pretty much anywhere. But we want to keep the weight off of those forks, right? I mean, consider this. You got this really long thing, right? And then you got me sitting on the back, right? So if I'm sitting here, that's what the forks are going to do. So I'm going to try to find a happy medium. I might even sit behind the axle. I might sit back here. That way me and the engine are kind of floating on the axle.
Oh my God, is it it just, the image of the, what was it, the big wheel? It's kind of like that, like the big wheel, the little kid kind of
You
sits.
sat
Remember?
right inside the
You
tires.
sat inside the tires and then sat back like a little bit. Yeah.
You're feeling it.
Oh, totally.
We got this bundle of goodness. I'm just gonna put a zip tie around those or a wire, that way they just stay. Actually, I'm gonna duct tape them because I got some. So I'm gonna get a jack stand to raise up the forks. Man, this gag duct tape is awesome. It's been the Burning Man 3 times. It's so dried out. I just don't use duct tape a lot. Prepare for jack stand. It's all about proportion, right? So is it too long? Is it too wide? Let's put this giant body up on it and see what happens. When Eric and I made the Blue Demon, we wanted this seating arrangement. We wanted it to be really tight, kind of like a jockey on a horse, right? I don't really like this. If the engine is right here too, imagine you threw the piston right out of there.
Like gravel from the road. People were worried about that with the Blue Demon.
Can you feel me? I think this is appropriately wide. I think the length for me to ride it is in the ballpark.
And we're back in action.
Are you feeling it?
Yes.
So this is the length, this is the width, and I want to sit just behind these tires. I might adjust it a little bit once we get into the chassis, but this is where we're heading. So with the mini bike frame, you can see how it's very simply made. Bend, 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 and they attached it right there. So I'm going to do something a bit more elaborate, but the concept of the bends remains. So what we have to do here is come up with an idea. You know, if I'm going to be sitting back here, we're going to need some kind of a perimeter hoop. I think I might just start with a rectangle, just a full box right here, similar to what we see here. I'm going to spill the beans now. This is going to have a body on it. So we're going to want a base for that body.
I'm so excited.
I have an idea for the body. We'll get into that. So these wheels are 4 feet out on the outside. So you're going to have hubs, you're going to have a bunch of other stuff. I'm thinking we'll just make it the same as this box. We'll make a 20-inch rectangle. That'll serve as the base. All right, so I'm going to start pulling. Put this through. There it is. Yeah, cool. So we want it 20 by roughly 10, I'm guessing. What's this? 20 by 15. 20 by 12. That's what we'll make it. Same as the box. So 1-inch die. 1/2 inch is half of 1 inch, so half there. We want it 20 on the outside, so we're going to let that hang over the die 1/2 inch. It's 29. Hanging out 1/2, 25. Here it is, 20. 1/2, 20. Ooh. Pull that. So this has to be parallel with that. So you'll see me stand back a lot. You might be wondering, what eyeball I'm giving it. I'm looking at this and this. There it is. That's flat. I'll pull it through. We won't be able to make a full circle on this because it's going to get trapped. So I'm going to do 3 sides and then patch in 1. So now we're going for 10.
Take 75.
Got it. All right. I made up that hoop. I made that of 3 pieces just to get the dimensions just right. It's so tight between the bends, I had to bring this out to 14 by 20 instead. So all good. That's going to sit here for the seat perch. And now I think we're going to drop down and up to the forks. We want to drop down about 3 inches, I'd say. Yeah, just drop 3. And we want this engine even a little bit further forward. Again, I could always trim this. Let's see, what I'm attempting now is see the bottom hoop on this frame. I'm going to make this portion here.
Ah.
So I almost feel like we could drop straight down from the headset like that. Let's do that. Let's leave this long. I'm going to drop 20 inches. Yeah. No, more than that. Let's bring it all the way up. Let's go 26. So we're going to go 26 down. We're going to go 10 back, and then we're going to figure out what that angle is here. 26, 10 plus. See if we got it in this. So we got 36. Yeah, that should be perfect. So at 26, we're going to be fully committed to horizontal.
Oh, everybody, we have these shirts, the shirt that Ian has on, for sale in our merch store. I think we didn't have it the last video, or maybe we did, I didn't say anything. So yeah, get you some.
And consider subscribing.
Yes.
All right, 26. Half inch out. 25 and a half. Half inch out. 30. Okay, roughly there. Yep. Cool. Pull that to 90. Oh, I forgot this is heavy wall. Whoa. Might have to ratchet. It's not the 16 gauge. Yeah, it's square. So pretty much we just want to set this engine in here where it's nice on the flat. So right there. I wish we could get it closer. Maybe we'll drop that. Maybe we'll make these wide at the base.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the tighter the better. It would look more appropriate. Well, I could do a little magic with the bottom plate. What happens on this side? No, that's gonna hit the yeah. You gotta keep this wider than that pull starter. Again, with the whole custom thing, you know, it'd be easy to just make a big wonky assembly. See how wide that mini bike is?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to keep this as thin as possible, just for the look. But this needs to go on here. So when the tube comes down, it's got to be at least that wide. I'm going to make another one of these and mock it up. How long was this? I think it was 5 feet. You got 30, 40, 50, 56-ish. Angle's a little bit off on this one.
No, it's like so amazing. Something that's so amazing to me that I'm noticing about custom building cars is you use so many simple shapes. You know what I mean? Just like a lot of like simple shapes.
I ain't a complex guy, baby.
I have to disagree with that.
See, these are going to come together like this, where the headset comes in. So yeah, I guess we're just going to make it this wide. Let's see how wide that is. We're going to live with that.
You don't really have a choice, do you? Because of the engine.
We have choices. I just choose this. So 10.5. Yeah, it just looks a little bit full through here. I could kind of do that. Yeah, just do this. How wide is that? We'll make it 11. All right, so 11 at the bottom, and then once we come kicking out of the back, it's free back here. There's nothing in the way. So let's just say we'll kick it right from after the oil cap. And we'll mark them both. So this is what I was getting at with the, wait, we want this? Yeah. I'm gonna flip that. I want as tall as, how tall is this? Yeah, I want to use these sides. These are going to be the top. Way up here. So as I was saying, right after the oil cap. That way we're sure. And now we're just going to figure out what angle will bring this up about 3 inches or more. Let's put that in there and take a look. Check this out. I just thought of this. If I was to bend this straight up, then when I tilt it to join, that's going to tilt over. So I think what I'm going to do, we got to figure out that angle. These have to be even, and we have to figure out how much offset. See what I'm saying?
No. I'm sure the viewers, many of them do.
If these are split, so if this is upright like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then this is your top. If this is at 90 degrees, when you bend it, this is going to be bent up like this. When you tilt it, that bend's going to come in. We need to figure out where on the tube is the top. Feel me? That makes sense now. I'm going to trim these to fit, and we're going to jig it up. Make sure they're the same length. So we're going to use the table as our center line. Let me clear some space. Would you grab that little clip on the top of the toolbox, please? See the little black ones? Okay, so the idea is these are going to be 11 inches wide, so that's 5.5 inches from each side. Need some weight on that. It's going to get weird. So you want to find out where this is dropping vertically. Got the square on the center line. Look at that, right through the center. How's that for eyeballing it? So we want 11, we want 5.5, that's 5. Five. Okay. 5.25, 5.5. All right. Okay. Now, as long as this is still dropping straight down, which it is, just a little bit right there. Cool. So I'm gonna put some tacks on this. But wait, I think one's a little bit off. Edge of the table, the line, we got 13, and here we got 12 3/8. I was reading it. Thirteen, 5.5. Shifted. 5.5. All right, so we got all these measurements mocked up. I'm gonna make some marks on the table so we come back to this ballpark arrangement. But now we know since these are tilted in, we have our mark of the true tops. See? That's where we need the bend, right on here. Come straight up. So this was a pretty good estimate. See there. Coming through there, that's the top. Coming through here, that's the top. Mark this, where that comes through. Cool. So now we'll bend them. As a reference, I'm just going to use that right under it. Boom. That's our mark. We're going to pull, so that raises up 3 inches. So just a guesstimation. We're going to take this through the bottom of this. We're committed to that. I just did it, so. Okay, so this is going to come to closed on this one. We're going to repeat that. Pull this. Oop. Let's see if dyslexia won again. Perfect. Sweet. I'm going to chop this off for a quick estimation.
Oh, now I get it.
Right?
Uh-huh. Now I see it.
Because if it laid flat on the table.
Yeah. Now it makes sense.
I knew it was just that you had to see it. Now what did I do? I That's definitely the top. That's definitely the top. That one goes on this side. Gets confusing up in here. Cut that. We'll have matching. All right, so back to the mock-up. Get that and that. And this. Put those in place. That goes there. Cool. That is going right up to the center. I like it. How are you feeling?
Looks good.
So you see, what we're ending up with is this is attaching like so.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to attach this and put some spacers on it.
Oh, wow. So you like basically made like the saddle.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to make 2 temporary spreaders for this. That will just keep this in line. So we're at 11. I'm going to make 2 10-inch pieces of stuff. Actually, I'll just make 1 out of this. I'm going to tack this temporarily in place. There'll be a new motor plate on here, but I just want to set this up so I can mock it up. So now we can kind of set the engine just for looksies. Yeah, that looks reasonable. So there's still a lot to mock up. I'm waiting on these parts from Evan, but what we've established thus far is seat area, engine, cradle, and lower fork area. The idea with this is that it's going to go to that hoop, but I want to bring this in a little bit. See, this is a little bit high. I could drop this down too, though. But again, we're just roughing stuff out. I could bring that seat up a little if I wanted to, or whatever. And then, yeah, these are definitely tall here. Definitely too tall. So, yeah. And then, I'm going to do some kind of weird gas tank up here too. So, yeah. And then the last tube, something to consider. So pretty much what's going to develop next is a tube, coming to show what the backbone's going to be. I'm going to work on getting some stuff welded in so I could sit there. But yeah, I'm happy with the way that this cradles that pull starter. The new motor plate will support the front of the block, but yeah, that looks cool. You got your nice round thing. So yeah. Yeah, I'm going to stop right at this point, and I'm going to cut apart that mini bike frame. I might use these foot pegs just because they're real mini bike foot pegs. You see, this had a wooden motor plate. That's not really what we can use. So I'm probably just going to use this tube, these triple tree things for the forks, and build the rest. So I'm going to order some kind of Springer kit and cut this apart. We'll be right back.